Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives, and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. I do want to let you know about my other podcast, including the Classic Comics podcast, where I examine and really look for the best comics in the universe. I sometimes don't find them, but we talk about a wide variety of different comics, a lot of classic older comics, as well as a few where I expect to find something good in modern day comics, and those can occasionally be found, and we like to highlight those when they're out there. And you can take a listen over at classiccomicsguide.com. Other podcasts we do, Amazing World of Radio, starting up soon with the Summer of Angela Lansbury at amazing.greatdetectives.net. There's The War, my World War II podcast at thewar.greatdetectives.net. And then the companion video podcast to this one at Public Domain Video Theater, videotheater.greatdetectives.net. Now it's time to get into today's episode of Boston Blackie. The original air date is July the 7th of 1948, and this one is Diamonds Stolen from Blackie and Charlie.
Nice of you to come down to my office, Blackie.
Not at all.
I know it's after hours, but you know how much I value your opinion.
I wish my opinion was as good as your opinion of it, Charlie.
Well, what do you think of them?
Well, perfectly cut. Color is good. I don't think you're making a mistake buying these diamonds, my friend.
That's what I wanted to know. They look right to me, but...
Both you guys keep your hands right where they are. Keep covered, fellas.
Oh, what is there about me that attracts trouble? Look, you guys, I'm very fond of guns, but they lose their attraction when there are fingers around the triggers. Now, suppose
you shut up. Get those diamonds, guys, all of them.
No, Blackie.
I hope you don't mind this little visit, Mr. Kingston.
I most certainly do.
It'll be a short one. We'll be out of here before you know it.
Blackie, are you going to let them get away with
Blackie.
it? Yes?
Is Boston, Blackie?
Yes, and so is this.
All right, get him, boys. Don't shoot me. Blackie, with your gun.
I got him. You have to hold me first, and I have no...
Good work, kid. Hey, you, Kingston.
Me?
Yeah, you. Don't get gay or you get what Blackie got. Just stay where you are until we get a 5-minute start. And if you want something to do for the 5 minutes, try to wake up your friend Blackie. And if you want something to do for the next 5 years, try to find out who we are.
Want a beer with flavor? A flavor that's delightfully, deliciously different? Try that smooth beer. Try Champagne Velvet, the beer with the $1 million flavor.
Thank you, my friend, for a very happy suggestion. It's worth repeating. Try that smooth beer. But Champagne Velvet is more than just that. It's a beer with a rare and unusual flavor combination. It's bright and sparkling from foam to finish. It's light and lively with a clear, clean taste that makes you sure it's pure. And best of all, it has the rich, robust, and full-bodied flavor that stamps it as a beer of real premium quality. Premium quality that costs you no premium in price.
Light and lively, bright and sparkling, yet just as smooth. What a flavor combination. And you're sure it's pure.
And now on to Dick Calmer as Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
dump the diamonds we took from Kingston on a table, Joey.
Okay.
Go ahead, dump them.
Here they are. Gee, look at them sparkle.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I could fall in love with diamonds, sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 of them.
Yeah. 3 for you, Joey.
Okay.
3 for Danny.
3. And 3?
Yeah.
That leaves 4.
So?
You mean 4 for you, Mike?
That's right. 4 for me.
Sometimes I ain't happy with a split, but this is okay with me.
Not with me.
Oh?
This was supposed to be a 3-way deal. I ain't happy with you getting an extra diamond, Mike.
Sit down, Danny.
Oh, no. Give me that extra diamond. I'll peddle it to a fence and we'll split the dough 3 ways. That'll make everything come out right.
I said sit down, Danny.
You don't bluff me, Mike. I'm taking...
Sometimes I think you're too quick with a gun, boss. I think Danny's dead.
I imagine he is, Joey. And you know something?
Sometimes.
It's a very convenient thing that he is dead. It's so much easier to divide 10 diamonds 2 ways.
Anything in the papers, Blackie?
One thing that interests me, Mary.
Well, it must interest you a whole lot more than I do. You've been staring at that picture on the front page for 5 minutes.
Take a look at the picture of this guy, Mary.
I'm looking, and I'm much prettier.
And a whole lot more alive.
Hmm?
This is a rogues gallery photo of a guy found dead in an empty lot this morning.
Oh.
There's something familiar about him, but his name, Danny Morris, I can't place that.
Maybe you recognize the number on his chest. You probably met it on an auto license somewhere, and you just can't remember where.
Stop kidding. I think I've got something.
Selfish.
Okay, I'll share it.
Sit.
I told you what happened last night in Charlie Kingston's office.
And that you did.
One of the 3 characters who came in, clipped me, and got the diamonds resembles this dead man.
That is something. You told me that you hadn't the slightest idea where to look for those 3 men. This murder will help you, won't it?
Certainly. It'll help me discharge an obligation.
Mm-hmm.
I owe those clowns something for conking me. And with Inspector Faraday's help, maybe I now can pay them off.
Hey, boss, you're pretty sure the cops will pick us up, ain't you?
I'm very sure, Joey. Just as sure as I am that they'll have to let us go as soon as they hear our story.
They're going to know that you and Danny and me came into town together. And when they find Danny's body, they're going to look for us. Sometimes
I just got finished telling you they were going to pick us up, Joey. And I told you also that they'd let us go.
Okay, if you say so. You told me.
Sure.
You got this rap fixed, boss?
You can't fix cops, Joey.
No?
I have this situation outsmarted, that's all.
You haven't.
Now, how about playing some gin rummy and forgetting all about it?
Sometimes I ain't sure you know what you're talking about.
Talking about gin rummy?
That ain't what I mean.
Oh, you mean about being in the clear?
Yeah.
Just wait and see, Joey. I'll get the cards.
Sometimes I think maybe I should have turned honest. My brother's got a garage out in the sticks. He's happy. He don't have to outsmart no cops.
Up and up in there. Up and up. This is the police.
A little earlier than I expected. Okay, we're coming. Just quit banging on the door. I said we're coming. Well?
You Joey sometimes?
My name is Graves. That's Joey over there.
I'm Faraday, homicide. You're going with me, both of you.
We'd be delighted to go. Come on, Joey.
Yeah.
We got nothing to worry about.
All I hope, boss, is that you know what you're talking about.
Blackie, I don't want to have to tell you this again. Get out of my office, or I'll have you arrested for loitering.
Inspector, I don't want to have to tell you this again. I'm a taxpayer, and you're a public servant. I'll be glad I don't have you come up to my house and wash the dishes.
As if you use dishes. Okay, Blackie, what do you want?
I have a little personal score to settle with the killers of that Danny Morris.
Yeah?
I want to know what you know about the case. Tell me, Inspector. I'm sure it won't take you long to tell me all you know.
All I know? I don't know anything.
Bragging will get you nowhere with me.
Humorous. Danny Morris came to town a week ago with 2 characters named Mike Graves and Joey Sometimes.
Joey Sometimes? What kind of a name is that?
I didn't name him. You want to listen or you want to talk?
I want to grab Mike and Joey. That's what I want to do.
I've done that. They're in the next room. They deny they killed Danny.
Well, what'd you expect them to do?
Who knows?
Get them in here, Faraday. I have a plan to make them change their mind.
Wait a minute, genius. I'll let you listen to their story.
Wait until you hear mine.
Okay, Graves, you too, Joey. Come on in here.
Why don't you give up, Flatfoot?
Sometimes I get so tired of it all.
Oh, you kid.
These are the guys, Blackie.
Yes,
Mike
sir.
Graves and Joey
I see
sometimes.
them. They sure are. They're the guys who stuck up Kingston's office and knocked me out. One side, Faraday. From here on, they're mine.
No, you don't. Hold it. Hold it, I quit.
Oh, you're always spoiling my fun.
Sometimes guys get so excited, don't they, Mike?
Now, Blackie, hold still till you hear their story, or I will throw you out.
Okay. I'll be good.
You better.
But their story better be, too.
It is. We know Danny Morris was shot at 9 o'clock last night. These two claim they were at a ball game last night.
That ought to be easy to check.
Try it.
All right. Who were the starting pitchers?
Sometimes I think guys can get pretty stupid, don't you sometimes, Mike?
Yeah.
I wonder how you ever got your name, Joey.
Well, when I was a
Blackie,
little
listen.
kid-
We asked these two every possible question about the game. They know all the answers.
They could have heard it on the radio or read about it this morning in the papers or seen it on television.
You hear that, Joey? The man says we could have heard it on the radio.
Sometimes I think we could save money that way. Never thought of that.
Faraday, give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute to forget my promise.
Wait it, Blackie. These two not only know all about the game, they have ticket stubs. They were sitting in Section 25, Row H, seats 13 and 14.
So they went to the game after they killed Morris.
Blackie, Danny was our friend. Why would we kill him?
I can think of a lot of reasons for killing a friend. Faraday, I want these two lugs arrested on a charge of holding up Charlie Kingston and me and stealing 10 diamonds.
That isn't my department, Blackie. But I'll see that it's done.
Good. No, wait a minute. I just thought of something. Let them go.
What?
Robbery doesn't carry enough of a penalty to suit me. I'll get these two jokers on a murder charge. You have my word on that. I'll pin a murder rap on them.
Daily Chronicle, classified.
I lost my dog. It's a brown collie. Answers to the name of Rover. I want to offer a reward for it. Please say lost brown collie. Answers to the name of Rover. Liberal reward if returned to owner. And sign it Mrs. DeWitt Calvin, Hotel Victor, room 928.
All right, we'll send you a bill. Goodbye. Daily Chronicle, classified.
This is Charles Kingston. I want to place a classified ad.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kingston.
This is the ad. $100 reward will be paid to the persons who sat in either seats 12 or 15, row H, section 25 at the ball game last night, if they were reported at my office.
Very well, Mr. Kingston. I know your office number. I'll put it in.
Good.
It's a little unusual, though. Did you lose something at the ball game?
Not exactly.
All right, I'll insert the ad, Mr. Kingston, and I'm pretty sure you'll get some answers. Chronicle want ads, get results.
All I know is if the ad gets results, so will Boston Blackie.
Very well, Miss Chambers. When I buzz you, let him come in.
That's good, Charlie.
That's it, Blackie. The ad brought some results.
Somebody's in your outer office, Charlie?
That's right. He's here for his $100. Says he was sitting in Section 25, row H, seat 12.
That's my boy, all right.
Good.
Just wait a second while I get these two photographs out of the envelope. So do you recognize these lugs, Charlie?
Wait till I put on my glasses. There. Oh, yes. These are two of the men who held us up and took my diamonds.
And unless I'm mistaken, later killed the third member of their gang.
Oh.
Their alibi is that they spent last night when the killing took place at the ball game. We'll see.
See what?
Well, I'm sure they weren't at any ball game. According to the ticket stubs they showed Faraday, they were sitting in row H, seats 13 and 14.
Yes.
We advertised for whoever had the seats on either side of them.
I get it. And you'll show the man outside these pictures. He won't be able to identify the men, and you'll be on the way to breaking that alibi.
That's right. I'm sure those men weren't in those seats unless they got into them after they killed their partner. And, Charlie.
Yes?
When I get them for murder, I'll get your diamonds back. Right now, you buzz your secretary and let that man in. I'll show you how right I am.
All right, Blackie. That'll do it. They should be in about...
Hey, which one of you is Kingston?
I am.
Oh.
But it's my friend Boston Blackie who wants to talk to you.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay, friend. My name's Davis, Al Davis. I was sitting in section 25, row H, and seat 12 at last night's game.
Good. Take a look at these pictures, Davis. Do you recognize either of these two men?
Let me look, friend.
There they are.
Hey, sure, I know those two guys. Well, I don't exactly know, but I seen them at last night's game. He sat next to me.
During the entire game?
Every minute of it. The guy here had a yellow necktie last night. Now, how about the $100 the newspapers that I'd get?
Do you have your stub?
Who saves stubs? Listen, if this is a gag, I'll take your
Very
part.
few people save stubs. But here's $100 I'm saving for my friend Kingston.
Blackie, why did you hit that man? You can be wrong, you know, and just because he told you something you didn't want to hear is no reason for knocking him out.
That isn't the reason I knocked him out, Charlie. That isn't the reason at all.
Premium quality, yes, sir. Premium quality that is yours to enjoy at no premium in price.
Now, that's something worth remembering. But every time you pour your glass of champagne velvet, you're reminded that you're enjoying a real premium quality beer at no premium in price. You know, of course, that more costly malt and grain, higher-priced hops, and more careful and costly brewing methods are all a part of CV's famous $1 million formula. So CV has to have unmistakable premium quality. CV's flavor tells you all of that. It's bright and sparkling, light and lively from foam to finish, with the rich, robust, and full-bodied flavor of a real honest-to-goodness beer. Real premium quality beer. But that's not all. It has a clear, clean taste, given it by controlled aging. A taste that makes you sure it's pure.
And it's smooth, just as smooth.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Boston Blackie and his friend Charlie Kingston are held up and robbed of valuable diamonds by 3 men. Later, one of the men is found murdered, and Blackie attempts to prove the other 2 are responsible. However, they claim they were at a night ball game, and their alibi is substantiated by a man named Al Davis, whom Blackie knocks out. As we return to our story, he is explained to his friend Mary Wesley.
All I know is you shouldn't have hit him, Blackie.
You sound as sorry as Al Davis must feel. No. Don't you see, Mary? It was all a gimmick. Mike Graves and Joey sometimes sent Davis.
Well, how could you be sure of that?
First of all, I'm positive they couldn't have been at the ball game. Not for the entire game, anyhow.
Pure conjecture on your part, I'm sorry to say.
Is it?
Yes.
Kingston and I were held up at 8 o'clock. Now, listen to this. The game started at 8:30. Kingston's office is too far away from the ballpark to make it in half an hour.
Oh, and when that Davis fellow said Graves and Joy were at the game from the start, you knew he was lying.
That was one way I knew.
Oh?
Mary, maybe I'd better tell you what I'm sure actually happened.
Yes, maybe you'd better.
The 3 lugs held up Kingston and me, then got into a fight over the diamonds, and Danny was killed.
Mm-hmm.
The remaining 2 went to the ballpark just to establish their alibi.
Oh.
They probably arrived in the middle of the game, but they did have their seat stubs.
And when they saw Kingston's ad in the paper, they knew what was happening, that a trap was being set. So they sent Davis.
Certainly. I told you before I had another way of knowing Davis was lying.
Oh?
He didn't have his seat stub, and nobody remembers the exact seat he sat in at any ball game. They can come close, but they can't tell you exactly.
Yeah, I suppose that's so. I could go to a theater, and an hour afterward couldn't tell you exactly what seat I was sitting in.
That's what I mean.
But Blackie, sending Davis to Kingston's more or less confirms your theory, doesn't it? That Joey and Graves are the killers you want?
Certainly it does. And now I have another plan.
What's that?
The first thing is to get Graves and Joey to dislike each other a little.
Oh? How do you do that?
By making a phone call to them. Whichever one answers the phone is going to make his partner answer to him.
How do you like that?
Any other game you think you can play, Joey?
You know, boys, sometimes I think maybe you cheat.
What do you mean sometimes? I cheat all the time. Only I wouldn't cheat on my friends.
You got friends?
Sure.
Huh? Come on, let's deal the cards. You wear off them spots with all that shuffling.
Okay, Joey.
Who's that?
Never mind, I'll get it. Don't know who it is. I do know it can't be the cops or Boston Blackie either. Even though he did get hep to that Al Davis we sent to answer that ad Kingston put into the paper.
Well, whoever it is, get him off in a hurry. Sometimes I gotta win a hand.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, Joey. It's all set just the way we planned. I got tickets. You see, we
Wait a minute. This isn't Joey. I'll get him. Joey.
For me? Which dame is calling me, boss? Sometimes I can't make up my mind.
It's no dame, Joey. Here, take it. You don't mind if I stay right here?
No, it's okay. Hello?
Joey, Mike Graves can't hear us, can he?
Huh?
Hey, I don't want him to know I'm teaming up with you and dealing him out. He's too smart an operator.
Hey, wait a minute.
He's listening, huh? Okay, call me.
Now, what the...
Trust me, huh, Joey?
Me?
You.
Sometimes, boss,
I can hear. Okay, Joey, you want to bust up with me and team up with some other clown? I'm going to bust you first.
You're out of your head. Don't smack me around, boss.
Why not?
Punk. Because I don't like it. When I don't like things, sometimes I hit back, like now. Hey, Joey, wait a minute, Joey. You had enough? You sorry you started this?
I sure am. But not the way you think. Joey, that phone call you got wasn't on a level.
I know that.
It was meant to start us battling. I guarantee you it was Boston Blackie on the phone.
Oh, trying to get us sore at each other, huh?
Sure.
Sometimes I think that Blackie is pretty smart. I tried to tell you I didn't know what the guy on the other end of the phone was yapping about.
Yeah, I know, and I should have listened to you.
Yeah, sure you should.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Let's get back to our game, Joey. We've already beaten Blackie at his.
So, genius?
I think right now, Inspector, I'm only so-so.
So?
It didn't work.
It didn't. And you won't let me.
So what?
Blackie, you were sure you could promote a fight between Mike and Joey and get one of them to believe he was being double-crossed by the other.
That's
All right,
right.
what happened?
Well, you ought to know. You were listening on the fire escape outside their room when I was telephoning.
I was listening. All right. What's this new idea you got?
It has to do with Kingston's diamonds.
Yeah, what about the diamonds?
Well, if I'm right about Graves and Joey...
As far as I'm concerned, you can stop right there.
If I'm right about them, they grabbed the diamonds after they slugged me.
I got to remember to send them a fan letter for clipping you.
When you sign it, put the word inspector before the X you make so that they'll know that it's from you.
You were telling me something about Graves and Joey having grabbed the diamonds.
Oh, yes, so I was.
Well, recontinue.
Where was I now? Oh, yes. I think that after they took them, they killed Danny Morris, the third member of their gang.
It was real thoughtful of them.
I thought so.
Yeah, how do we prove it?
By proving first that they have the diamonds they stole.
Go on.
Don't worry, I am going on. Right on to the solution of this case.
Hello, Kingston speaking.
This is Blackie, Charlie.
Hello, Blackie.
How busy are you?
I'm all right at the moment, Blackie. Why?
Can you make a phone call for me?
I don't know why not.
All right. Get the Standard Hotel on the wire and ask for a fellow named Graves.
Yes?
Then tell him you want to buy back the diamonds he stole from you.
Blackie, are you sure you know what you're talking about?
I think so.
Graves won't do business with me. He won't admit he has the stones.
I know he won't.
Why should I make that call?
Because I ask you to.
That's a good enough reason. I'll make the call.
Thanks.
What do I do after I've finished?
After you've finished, Charlie, Graves and Joey sometimes will be finished.
If that's one of my dames, Mike, I ain't in.
Any gal stupid enough to call you would believe that, Joey.
Unless it's Margie. Margie, I got something to say. Sometimes I think all the gals got a yen for me.
Why not? How could they resist you? Hello?
Hello, this is Charlie Kingston.
Who?
It's all right. I don't expect you to say you know me. But I want my diamonds back, the ones you stole from me. And I'll pay you more for them than you'll get anywhere else.
I'll tell him when he comes in. Goodbye. What does he think I am, a chump?
Who was that, boy?
Oh, brother, that Blackie never gives up. That was Charlie Kingston saying he wanted to buy those stones we copped.
Huh?
It was just a gimmick, Joey, to get us to grab the rocks from where we got them stashed. Blackie would be following us and...
What's up?
Hey, do you smell smoke, Joey?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Huh?
Hey, I do. Coming in from under the door.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
You don't have to tell me twice. Let's see if we can make it down the stairs. Yeah. Hey, this door's locked from the outside.
Leave us not fooling around with any doors. Come on. Let's get out the window.
There's a fire escape. We'll be okay. Don't worry. Everything has to happen to us.
Sometimes I think maybe neither of us is lucky. Open a window, will you?
I'm trying to. It's
stuck. Then break it. Hey, look, out of the way. I'll do it with this chair.
Hurry up, the smoker's getting me. Get out of the way. Okay, boss, out. Right.
Get back in that room, both of you.
Blackie.
That's right, Blackie. And both of you stay in the room. My gun and I like you there.
Look, Blackie, the joint's on fire. We gotta get out.
Do you?
Boss, the flames are coming in. Look at the door.
Blackie, let us out.
Sure, as soon as you tell me where those diamonds are.
Let us out of here.
Boss, the diamonds ain't worth it. Tell them.
Not a chance.
That's what you think. Blackie, the stones are in the 8th vault. We got them in a box there under the name of Woods. I'll give you the key.
Thank you.
Now, let us out. It's hot in here.
Why did you kill Danny Morris?
Blackie, you made a deal. You said you'd let us out if we told you where the diamonds were.
I changed my mind.
What?
Now I want to know about Danny Morris.
We killed him because he griped about the way the boys were splitting up the stones. Now, let us out of here.
1 minute. How about that ball game alibi?
We went to the game after we killed Danny. Blackie, let us out.
1 moment, please. Oh, Faraday.
Yeah, Blackie, I'm here.
Faraday, too.
Come on, you guys. You want it out. All right, tip your hands up.
Okay.
Not to mention your spirits. Well, boys, the fire I started outside the door did the trick. It got you two to confess, only there isn't any real fire at all.
No real fire?
No. I imagine I'll have to pay for a new door, which I had to set on fire, with one of Faraday's policemen on hand to see that the flames didn't spread. Oh, by the way, that phone call from Kingston just now was to throw you off guard. I knew you wouldn't fall for it.
You're pretty clever, Blackie.
Thank you. One thing I know, that fire I set means we wind up this case in a blaze of glory. And that, Mary, is that. Everybody is now completely happy.
With the possible exception of that fellow Graves and Joey sometime.
Yeah.
You know, they were awful silly to fool around with you.
See what happens when people try? Let that be a lesson to you.
Yes, Professor.
Of course, they didn't know I'd be in Kingston's office when they stole the diamonds, and they never planned to kill Danny. But I'll say this for them. They covered up pretty well.
Just not quite good enough.
They figured out everything I do with the exception of that fire, Mary.
How come they missed up on that?
Well, I had Kingston call them just before we let the smoke get through the door. I wanted them to think that that was my next move.
The phone call.
Yeah. That put them off guard, and when they saw me on the fire escape, they were pretty sure the only way that I'd let them out is if they talked.
They didn't see Inspector Faraday there.
No. He was out of sight. They believed they could confess anything to me and later be able to either take care of me or deny what they said. But with Faraday there, it was a different story.
With an unhappy ending for them. Kingston has his diamonds back. Graves and Joey are in jail, and we're out for a ride in the country.
Getting fresh air.
Let's not go back to town, Blackie.
Why not?
There might be another murder case. That's why not.
Oh, in that case, let's hurry back.
Oh, Blackie.
Make mine CV, because for me there is no finer beer. And it's just as smooth.
Make mine CV. So many folks who know good beer when they taste it have said just that, time after time, that Champagne Velvet is not only the leading beer by far in its home state of Indiana, but it is preferred by particular people everywhere that it is sold. There's only one reason for that, and that is flavor. The bright, sparkling, light and lively flavor of a real premium quality beer. Premium quality that costs you no premium in price. The rich, robust, and full-bodied flavor of real, honest-to-goodness beer. And the clear, clean taste that makes you sure it's pure.
So make yours CV, because for you, there is no finer beer. You're sure it's pure, and it's just as smooth.
And now, here is a preview of what happens next week.
Welcome back. The whole using a fire in order to frighten criminals is not at all new. But I did like the idea of kind of playing a little bit of a psychological game where they thought Blackie was up to one thing, which they, avoided and were congratulating themselves on. And then kind of flat-footed when Blackie did something else. That said, their alibi was never all that good, particularly when they had robbed Charlie Kingston, so they couldn't get there on time. So, yeah, it wasn't that great to start with. But it was nice they didn't fall for every trick that Blackie used, and that he did have to try a few different things. Alright, well, listener comments, and feedback, and I'm in some hot water, or perhaps I should say hot water. Bill writes, okay, Adam, as a native Hoosier, it's time to take you to task over your pronunciation of a city. The first word, terra is pronounced terra, as in terra firma. The second word, hot, is pronounced with the AU making a long O sound, like in the phrase haute couture. I haven't heard it mangled that way since Les Nessman pronounced it phonetically terra haute on an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati. Well, Bill, I am sorry about that. I did try to get the pronunciation right, but apparently I misread the pronunciation for Terra Haute, and I'm hoping that I have pronounced that correctly. If not, my apologies. I will avoid mangling the name of the fair city of that place in Indiana. And if I mispronounce the other phrase, yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for the comment, Bill. Jeff has a question. Thanks for all you do to keep us entertained. I just listened to episode 2815 Boston Blackie, and I'm trying to figure out how Ross got the knife back that he killed Davis with to threaten Blackie. Earlier in the episode, when Blackie's found Davis's body, it had a knife in it. That's a good question. I went back and listened to a couple parts of it, and I don't see an explanation. I don't think this was a case where somebody came in and grabbed the knife back. To me, it sounds like the writer may have just forgotten that they had established that the knife was actually in the corpse. And on the same episode, a comment from John, who writes, while listening to your explanation of how hard it is to date this episode, I caught what seemed like a fence post error in your reasoning. You mentioned the first occurrence of 2 consecutive lost episodes, but it seems to me that you should be looking for a run of 3 or more. The episode before this one, which would have the teaser for this one, and the one teased at the end of this episode. On that one, you might have a technical point, but in this case, it's kind of an academic one, just because the fact of the matter is that you have 6 episodes in a row that are not in circulation in between the May 5th and June 23rd episodes. Now, Dennis at the Digital Deli has got log information for what those episodes would be, but the teaser for the John Davis Killed Twice episode could have been on the episode that that Dennis has titled Murder at the Racetrack, which is not in circulation. John goes on, and he says, on a different note, I find myself at times wondering about Blackie's motivation for getting involved in a particular investigation. In some cases, it seems fairly clear, such as when a friend is involved or when someone comes to him for help. Other times, however, it seems like he just jumps in for the heck of it, as in this episode. There does not appear to have been any real reason for him to have been checking on Davis, the dead man, other than as a possible favor to Inspector Faraday. Similarly, there seems to be no good reason for him to have been investigating the bomb thrown through a window in another recent episodes. What are your thoughts on this? Well, thanks so much for the question, John. And I think that he is one of those characters who does things and investigates things just because it interests him. And that is essentially the motivation. It's not the best motivation in the world. And it'd be nice if it were a little bit more like in the TV series, when they did the TV series. It was pretty consistent that Blackie got involved either because there was a direct threat to someone he knew, or, he just found himself in the middle of the case. Here you have situations where Blackie isn't, in the middle of a mystery, so he's not just, drawn into it, and nobody is asking him to. So for the radio show, I think the way that they're writing it is he gets involved in whatever takes his interest, whatever catches his fancy, which isn't really in keeping with the whole enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend credo that's supposed to be the centerpiece of why he does what he does. Thanks for the comment, John. I appreciate it. And that will actually do it for today. I want to thank our Patreon of the day. Thank you so much to Jasmina. Jasmina has been one of our Patreon supporters since January 2016, currently supporting us at the Detective Sergeant level of $7.14 or more per month. Thanks so much for your support. And join us back here tomorrow for yours truly, Johnny Dollar. And then we will be back next Thursday, another episode of Boston Blackie. In the meantime, send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.